The man always wears noise-canceling headphones during lunch to block out his colleagues' mockery, but one day, a coworker pulls them off and openly mocks him to his face. Fusey suppresses his anger and quietly walks away, yet this only makes the coworker bolder. He throws the headphones at Fusey. Even so, Fusey doesn't fight back. Later, when the supervisor asks about the incident, he even defends his coworker, saying, "It's normal for guys to roughhouse sometimes." Every Friday after work, Fusey eats at this Thai restaurant. He always sits at the same table and orders pad Thai. The owner knowingly removes the tableware across from him. He knows no one will ever join Fusey for dinner. Afterward, Fusey drives alone to the seaside, calls into a radio station, requests his favorite heavy metal song, and stares into the night. This is Fusey's entire life. Because of his large build, baldness, and deep insecurity, he's introverted and soft-spoken. He's never been in a relationship. At 40 years old, he still lives with his mother. One day, he sees a remote-controlled car model and hesitates for a long time before finally deciding to buy it. When he gets home, he runs into a little girl who just moved in nearby. She asks if the remote-controlled car is for his son. Fusey doesn't know how to respond. Luckily, her father shows up just in time and saves Fusey from the awkward moment. On a snowy day, Fusey goes outside to play with his remote-controlled car, which he later modifies and upgrades. But that's not his only cool toy. He also owns an elaborate war game tabletop set. Sometimes he invites his only friend over for a match. On Fusey's birthday, his mother buys him a cake. Her boyfriend gifts Fusey a hat and a voucher for dance lessons, hoping he might meet a girlfriend there. His mother even prepares a suit for him, but when he finally musters the courage to go to the dance class, he realizes they're teaching line dancing. He immediately feels out of place, so he returns to his car and zones out to his favorite music. Before long, snow begins to fall. Everyone from the dance class rushes home. Suddenly, a woman named Sophie approaches Fusey and asks for a ride. Fusey stays completely silent during the drive, making the trip awkward for Sophie. When she learns Fusey is also in the dance class, she promises to help him feel more welcome next time. Another day, Fusey runs into the girl from downstairs. She's locked herself out. Fusey kindly brings her into his apartment and even prepares a snack for her. But her father is less than grateful. He doesn't even say thank when he picks her up. The next day, the girl shows up uninvited. While they're playing, she mentions her father thinks Fusey is weird. This hurts his feelings, but the girl doesn't agree. She wants to be friends. A week later, Fusey returns to the dance class. Sophie can't help but smile at his clumsy attempts to dance. After class, he takes her to the Thai restaurant. The owner can't stop glancing over. He's never seen Fusey with a female friend before. After the meal, Fusey drives Sophie home. She invites him in for tea, but he says he doesn't like tea. She offers coffee instead, but Fusey says he isn't thirsty. Just like that, he misses a perfect opportunity. As he's driving away, he rethinks the situation, makes a U-turn, musters his courage, and rings her doorbell. They sit in the living room and talk. When Sophie learns Fusey works at the airport, she envies his staff travel privileges, assuming he gets to fly abroad often. Little does she know Fusey has never even been on a plane. The conversation is a little awkward, but Fusey is overjoyed. For the first time in his life, he's experiencing what romance feels like. The next day, he goes to the airport service counter, gets 2 staff flight tickets, and rushes to tell Sophie, only to learn from her boss that she's been fired. Fusey drives to Sophie's house and finds her working as a garbage collector. He rings the doorbell. When Sophie answers, she seems irritated. Fusey wants to say something comforting, but before he can get a word out, she closes the door. After a brief hesitation, he rings the bell again. Despite her coldness, Fusey tells her he doesn't care where she works and shows her a travel brochure. He wants to invite her to Egypt with him. Moved by his sincerity, Sophie apologizes for her earlier behavior. Sometime later, the girl from downstairs asks Fusey to take her out. They go to a riverside park. Unexpectedly, her father calls the police. What began as a kind gesture is misinterpreted as suspicious behavior. He calls Fusey a creep and yells at him relentlessly. Fusey can only keep apologizing. In the end, the police take him in for questioning. After an investigation, he's released without charges. Eventually, the girl makes new friends. One day, a boy sees Fusey's remote-controlled car and asks to play with it. The girl watches from a distance. When the boy's mother sees her son with Fusey, she immediately calls him home. Prejudice is a terrible thing. It can hurt even the kindest people. Later, Fusey visits Sophie's house and finds piles of garbage everywhere. Sophie is hiding in the bathroom, unwilling to come out. She's struggling with depression and repeatedly tells Fusey to leave, but he stays by her side. The next morning, he makes breakfast, cleans the entire house, then goes to work to request extended leave, all so he can care for Sophie. He makes her lunch, but she's still ashamed of her job. So Fusey goes to the waste management site. The supervisor says, if someone covers Sophie's shift, her job will be kept open for her. Just like that, Fusey starts waste sorting. His new co-workers also talk about him, but this time, they invite him to watch a soccer game at a bar. One day, Fusey brings a bouquet of flowers, and opens the door Sophie had kept closed for so long. She immediately embraces him. With his devoted care, Sophie gradually recovers. They play music while painting the walls, ready to leave the past behind. She takes Fusey to a vacant storefront, and shares her dream of one day opening a flower shop there. When Fusey's cover shift at the waste management site ends, his co-workers find a small coconut palm in the trash, and give it to him as a farewell gift. It may be trash, but to Fusey, it symbolizes priceless friendship. When he returns to Sophie's after work, she throws herself into his arms. After they become intimate, Fusey finally loses his virginity. Sophie suggests moving in together, but Fusey hesitates. He says he needs to discuss it with his mother first. Sophie gets angry, grabs her clothes, and leaves. Fusey chases after her, and promises to move in the next day. So he dismantles his war game set, and gives all his toys to the little girl downstairs. She isn't home, so her father accepts them. As Fusey is leaving, the father apologizes for his past behavior. Fusey simply says, it's okay. His friend helps him move, and prepare for his new life. But unexpectedly, Sophie has a change of heart. She says moving in was an impulsive idea, and now she's having second thoughts. She asks Fusey for more time. Fusey is speechless. After a moment of silence, he walks away heartbroken. His friend helps him move his things back. As he's leaving, Fusey looks toward Sophie, but she avoids his gaze. And just like that, Fusey's life returns to what it was. Sitting in his car, he watches people rushing to catch their flights, and feels a sudden urge. Later, he buys the vacant storefront, and, with his friend's help, renovates it completely. Then he slips the keys under Sophie's door. The next day, Fusey stands on a pedestrian bridge, overlooking the airport where he worked for so many years. After a long silence, he finally takes the first big step of his life. As the plane's engine roars, Fusey smiles. He feels he's found his direction. The film ends here. No summary can truly replace the original movie. This film is called Virgin Mountain. If you're interested, I highly recommend watching the full story.